Now, Mr. Ambassador, what would be the most help from the United States government at this time for the state of Israel? What is it that the United States could do that would be of the greatest utility on the ground? I know the Secretary of State is doing Cairo today and maybe changed his plans when the ceasefire was rejected by Hamas. But what will you look for the United States to do to support?
Well, the first thing we already have, and that's very strong support for Israel's right to defend itself. You know, I was at the White House yesterday, and I heard the president say that these were inexcusable rocket attacks. You heard the statement probably of Secretary Kerry today, who also condemned it unequivocally, especially the decision of Hamas to reject this ceasefire and to continue. I'll tell you, there's one thing, that I think a lot of people can do, and probably a lot of your listeners can do as well. We have to create a dynamic where the use of human shields is considered to be an illegitimate tactic of war. It is on the books, but what happens in these cases is Hamas basically uses the Palestinian population as human shields. They place missile batteries next to mosques, next to hospitals, next to schools, in private homes, and then Israel, in surgically striking and enacting to defend itself, unfortunately hits innocents. We don't intend to do it, and that's all the moral difference in the world. But then what happens is, I, as Israel's ambassador, get asked all these questions about why is Israel targeting these innocents, even though we're not. And I think that we have to, once and for all, put the blame for the innocent lives that are being taken on the Palestinian side because of Israel's legitimate actions of self-defense. We have to put that blame at the door of Hamas. If Hamas is blamed for these types of actions, the chances that they'll continue to use this tactic in warfare will go down. If they think they can generate international sympathy for their cause and that Israel will be blamed, then they will continue to use their own population as human shields. And if one positive thing can come out of this conflict right now, it's that human shields will no longer be considered an acceptable tactic of war because it will not get those who use it anywhere.
As I was going out the air last night, Mr. Ambassador, a rocket was launched from the West Bank and hit Eilat and hit a hotel, and thank God no one was killed. There were some injuries. And does that change the dynamic? Are the Hamas radicalization impacts spreading beyond Gaza?
Well, after we had the murder of these three teenage boys in Israel about a month ago, the Israeli government worked to try to dismantle a lot of that network that had been set up by Hamas in Judea and Samaria and the West Bank. Thus far, fortunately, things have been calm on that front. We also have had a couple of rockets fired on us from Lebanon, from different rogue elements in southern Lebanon that wanted to maybe draw us into a bigger confrontation. I mean, right now the main focus is obviously on Gaza. It's making sure that we can bring these rocket attacks to an end and also demilitarize Gaza. Israel left Gaza 8 years ago. A lot of people don't remember it. I know a lot of people have a sense of history that goes all the way back to breakfast. But Israel left Gaza 8 years ago. We ripped out about 21 settlements. We took 10,000 people, uprooted them from their homes. We removed our military from Gaza. There were great hopes at the time that the Palestinians would use this opportunity to actually deliver peace and prosperity for their people and really hopefully to lead to a broader peace with the Palestinians. Even people at the time even said, you know what, the Palestinians can turn this into Singapore on the Mediterranean. Unfortunately, they turned it into Iran on the Mediterranean, and Hamas has created a giant fortress of missiles and missile batteries in this area. The second the fighting ends and there's a ceasefire, the world has to demand that Gaza is demilitarized.